Hey, what's up guys, it's Caboose. I'll bring you another Injustice 2 video, and today we're going to be doing is another episode of the Q&A series. That's right, this is a series that I'm planning on bringing back, but I'm not sure if I want to make it a regular thing. However, if you guys want it to be a regular thing, let's see if we can get this video to 2,000 likes. If we can do that, that would be awesome. That would show me that you guys want to see more of the Q&A series. To some of you who may be newcomers to the channel, this is a series in which I take questions from you guys about Injustice 2, and we talk about it, and we just build hype leading up to the release of the game. It's fun, it's enjoyable, but if you'd like to see more episodes of this series, then let's see if we can get this video to 2,000 likes. Now, to some of you who are newcomers and to some of you who are fans of this series, one thing that I want to change up is how you're sending in your questions. Now, I always wanted to say, like, hey, make sure you put Q&A in your questions so that I know you want to be a part of the series, but let's create a hashtag this time around. So if you want to send in your question for a future installment, in which you can do so by either leaving a comment on this video or sending me one through the social media outlets linked in the description, my Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, just make sure you include the hashtag #AskCaboose. So if you put that hashtag in your question, then I know you are looking to be a part of the Q&A series. That out of the way, the Twitter questions that I picked out today don't include that hashtag, simply because I asked people to send me in questions this morning, just so I can gather a bunch of questions for a brand new episode today. Now, let's get into the first question that we have at hand from Twitter, and this comes from It's Hexic, and they ask, do you think that the Joker will be revealed as a playable character, although Superman killed him in the Injustice 2 story trailer? Now, he doesn't necessarily kill him in the Injustice 2 story trailer. This is something that happened in Injustice Gods Among Us, in which the Joker was murdered by Superman, and that's kind of what sets off the story of Injustice Gods Among Us. So, do I think that the Joker will be revealed, although the Joker is dead? Yeah, it seems like he's going to be in the game. He was on the leaked roster list, and I think it's fairly likely that we're going to see the Joker return to the Injustice 2 roster. I'm not a big fan of that, to be honest. I wouldn't have minded him staying out of the Injustice 2 roster, but he is such a massive character in the DC mythos, so I can see why NetherRealm wanted to bring him back. How they're going to explain it, what they're going to do, I don't really care. To be honest, you've already heard my stance about dead characters and their return to the Injustice 2 roster. I don't care how they do it. I'm sure there's a way to explain it. There's a million different ways to explain dead characters returning, and it happens all the time in comic books. So I don't really care. I think if there was a chance for him to return, it's definitely likely. It doesn't really matter if he was dead or not. Now, our next question comes from Damien Deer on Twitter, and they ask, why do you think the Flash gameplay hasn't been shown? This is a question that a lot of people have asked me, and I've asked myself, is like, what's going on with the Flash gameplay? Why haven't we seen any gameplay of the Flash yet? And to be honest, it could be a number of reasons. The render could not be ready. Maybe his gameplay is just not ready to show off yet. And, you know, it could be a number of things. Maybe they want to save his reveal with the Captain Cold character reveal. Maybe that's something we're going to see tomorrow. Who knows? There's a number of reasons why they could not be showing the Flash gameplay. But it is a little weird, you know, he was one of the original characters that was announced when Injustice 2 was revealed, like, almost a year ago. So the fact that we haven't seen any gameplay of the character is like, what the hell is going on? I want to see some Flash gameplay in Injustice 2. I want to see if they maybe changed up his moveset. I want to see if they've added stuff to maybe his old moveset. Maybe he has a new projectile. I don't know. I just want to see some more gameplay of the character, and hopefully we're going to get that tomorrow. Who knows? We have a new character reveal tomorrow. Maybe it's going to be Captain Cold, and then alongside that we get the gameplay reveal of the Flash. But besides that, who knows why they're hiding the Flash gameplay right now? It could be a number of reasons. I'm not too worried about it. Now, the next question actually comes from a good friend of mine, and his name is Ander Writer. If you'd like to go give him a follow on Twitter, you absolutely can. He is a big fan of Aquaman, so if you love you some Aquaman, he is the guy to go to. Now, Ander asks, what are you looking forward to the most from Injustice 2? Gear system, characters, story? Well, actually, that's a great question. Now, having already experienced the gear system through the Injustice 2 online beta and seeing how it works and having that fulfillment of like unlocking epic gear or the shaders and everything like that, I think the next thing in line that I am most excited for Injustice 2 is the story mode. I mean, this was a question that was actually answered, in which I sent in a question for the Watchtower livestream by Ed Boon himself. I asked, besides the gear system, what was the most ambitious thing about Injustice 2? And Ed Boon answered by saying that it is the story mode. So logically, considering that I've already experienced the gear system, the next thing in line that I'm most excited for to experience in Injustice 2 is the story mode. I want to see what goes down. I want to see if it's as good as the first game, because although maybe the graphics don't stand the test of time for Injustice Gods Among Us, the story mode in Injustice Gods Among Us is insanely good. Like, they tell such a compelling story. It is so well done. So if they can even match a little bit of that with Injustice 2, then I am pumped. I can't wait to see what they do with Injustice 2 story, to see what characters are involved, how they're involved. It's going to be really exciting. Now, to follow up my thoughts on the story mode for Injustice 2, our next question comes from Super Gutta Zombie. I'm sorry if I'm butchering the name there. I apologize. But they ask, do you think the multiverse will play a part of the story, and how many stages / environments do you think there will be in the game? Now, this is a bit of a two-parter question. Now, to answer your first part of the question, I think maybe there's going to be a multiverse side of the story mode for Injustice 2. I don't really know, though. It seems like through all the interviews that we've gotten about Injustice 2 and any question that Ed Boon's ever really been asked about the story mode, they really want to make it a bit more of a contained story in Injustice 2 and make it just on the Earth with the evil Superman. We'll see what goes down when the game comes out, if there's going to be any multiverse aspects to the game. I don't really mind it as long as it's told well, similarly to how it was in Injustice Gods Among Us. So I don't really mind it if they do the multiverse thing, but I'm guessing and I'm leaning more towards the fact that Injustice 2 is going to have a bit more of a contained story. Now, to answer the second part of your question, I don't really know what number exactly there's going to be for stages, but I'm hoping there are more stages in Injustice 2 than there were in Injustice Gods Among Us. And one thing I am crossing my fingers for the most is no duplicate stages. That was one thing a lot of people had a problem with in Injustice Gods Among Us, where we would have Arkham Asylum and then Joker's Asylum, which is just Arkham Asylum with some Joker spray paint here and there. And then we had Wayne Manor in the morning and Wayne Manor in the night. I don't want any of those duplicate stages, because if you factor those in, Injustice Gods Among Us only had like 13 total stages. So I'm hoping we get like 15 to 20 legitimate stages, no duplicates in Injustice 2, because that would be great. And it seems like so far some of the stages they've shown off have definitely been very unique and creative. The swamp looks really cool. Gorilla City looked very interesting from the brief glimpse that we got of it in the Here Comes the Girls trailer. Atlantis looks sleek this time around. Arkham Asylum looks great. All the stages I'm fairly happy with so far. I'm just hoping we don't get those duplicates like we did with Injustice Gods Among Us. Now, the runner-up in questions that we got for today comes from Harvey Dent _ and his name is Nate. And Nate asks, do you see any CW or DCEU skins making it into the game or as future DLC? Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, Nate. Now, I think I've already talked about the DCEU skins and my thoughts on that. So, to just talk about your CW skins, there's definitely a possibility. I mean, we got the CW Arrow skin in Injustice Gods Among Us, and a lot of the CW costumes have made their way to Injustice Mobile. So, I think there's definitely a chance that maybe we see the CW Reverse Flash costume, maybe we see the CW Flash costume, but if the leaked list is correct and Firestorm ends up being in Injustice 2, the costume that I'd like to see for Firestorm is the CW Legends of Tomorrow costume. I think that could look really cool in a video game form, so that's the one CW costume I would definitely like to see if the chances of Firestorm being in the game are correct, as the leaked list seems to be. And now the last question of the day comes from Joshua _ Jones 844, and they ask, do you think we will get more than 9 DLC characters if Injustice 2 goes successfully well? That's actually a really good question, because one thing that happened with Mortal Kombat X is they had the initial combat pack of 4 DLC characters, and almost a year later after the game's release, a brand new combat pack was released with 4 more characters. So could there be a chance that Injustice 2 gets more than 9 DLC characters? Maybe. 9 is more than we ended up getting in Mortal Kombat X with the total DLC after Mortal Kombat XL. So I don't know, but I mean, if all goes well and the DLC is extremely successful, maybe they could release 1 or 2 more DLCs or a whole nother combat pack. I don't really know though, because right now they're already selling the game with this $100 version. It's $130 in Canada, and you get that 9 DLC and these skins and everything. I don't know if they're really going to make another combat pack and make people spend even more money on the game on top of the already $100 it's going to cost for the Ultimate Edition. So I'm gonna say I doubt it for now, but anything can happen, especially if the sales numbers are extremely successful for this first 9 DLC, or if many people are pre-ordering the Ultimate Edition. And that's going to conclude this episode of the Q&A series. Thank you everyone for sending in your questions, but now if you want to send in your questions for a future installment of this series, all you got to do is include the hashtag #AskCaboose and leave your question, whether that's in the comments of this video or on my social media accounts, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that linked in the description. Once again, if we can get this video to 2,000 likes, I would really appreciate it. It shows that you guys want to see more of this series returning to the channel. I'm Caboose XBL. You can click on screen to make your way to one of the other videos on the channel, or you can click my logo to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Please follow me on Instagram and Twitter and like me on Facebook. Those links are in the description. Drop a like if you enjoyed, leave a comment if you have an opinion, and subscribe if you're new. See you guys later.